Hello there, Site-42 staff, as well as those of you from the greater SCP Foundation community. And welcome to another... What's going on here? Please, browser, please work. I need you to work. At this exact moment, please do me a favor and function. All the technology in the multiverse, and we are just getting by. Suffice it to say, anyways. Hello there, Site-42 staff, and those of you from the greater SCP Foundation. As always, I am Dr. Theron Sherman, Site Director of Site-42, as well as Head Containment Specialist, and welcome to another Dr. Sherman's Office Hours, a subsidiary of the anomalous broadcast from Site-42. As we have been doing daily for just 1 day shy of 6 months, the streak goes strong. We have daily opened my office door to you, the SCP Foundation staff, so you can ask your questions about the inner workings of this place we all enjoy our employment of, the SCP Foundation. Whether you have questions about the anomalies we contain, the staff who contains them, the groups of interest who oppose our containment, or hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of the Foundation's purview, perhaps they're from a different multiverse or pataphysical narrative level, i.e. fandom, I am here for the next 3 hours to answer your queries. And before I do such a thing, allow me just a little bit of housekeeping. First and foremost, Junior Researcher Sally, congratulations on being the most punctual staff member of the day. You were first in the chat. Congratulations. Along with you, Dr. Frogman, A.A. Blackwood, America, Dr. Puppeteer, Broadcast Signal 13, Dark Duality, Silent Follower, Robin, Mobile Task Force Captain Hikari, June, and Zirdarin, everyone who I have thusly named, thank you for your exceptional punctuality, arriving to stream on time, and also thank you for being members. We appreciate your membership and your service, especially our intrepid battle against the White Names. So thank you for your service. Meanwhile, Elizabeth, Ajadan, Rahaf, Haru, and Junior Calderon. All of you, thank you for being punctual, and thank you for being here, just for being you. So, checking in to our stream desk. Good to see you alive and well. And active. Everyone's in position, ready for action. So, first thing I'm going to show you of the day, before we get into the main event. Thanks to friend of the channel, channel member, Amber Chaos, we have made a troubling discovery. After an entire weekend of complaining about very, very, very removed from the community casual SCP fans either supporting AI art or even believing the SCP community supports AI art, which we very much do not, it was brought to my attention that our background music player of choice, Kevin MacLeod, has started using AI music in his tracks. The god of royalty-free music apparently has been using AI for a while. Now the question is, what songs? Which albums? When did he start? We don't know. The details are a little hard to parse. But therefore, I don't want to be the guy sitting here using AI art as I complain about AI art. And so what we're doing today is I am currently in talks with friend of the channel, Billith, aka the YouTube channel Slowgramming, a SCP author and musician. And we, from this point on, will be licensing the Billith Slowgramming tracks as our new background music. Now, here's the thing. I currently have 3 tracks of the SCP album, SCP Original Soundtrack Volume 1, on Spotify playing. But here is the problem. For the first 2 tracks there, I don't think you heard them. They are a bit quiet. So we're going to be on a slight adventure while I work with Billith on getting a set of the music that will play behind our tracks and, well, be audible. And so in the meantime, I hope you will stick with us as we go through this transition. But as for today, I'm just listening to Billith's album and seeing what we can play that will play. So, with that out of the way, and Desk, it's good to see you extremely excited. With that out of the way, let us get to first our donations. Robin, thank you for being our first donor of the day, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a bacon, lettuce, and tomato sandwich on your way past the commissary. Theron, have you heard of the Balmoral mining tragedy? If not, read the Wikipedia on it, even if it's only available in French. Well, I do not read French, so that will become difficult for me. But perhaps there is an auto-translation of some kind? Balmoral mining tragedy. Is it Balmoral or Balmoral? Did I type that wrong? Not sure. Balmoral mining disaster, a cave-in that killed 8 miners in Quebec, Canada in 1980, while Balmoral is a common geographical name. Searches for Balmoral mining tragedy primarily yield results for the disaster at Balmoral mine. Well, that makes sense. That's what I'm looking for, is Balmoral. Thank you. Link to the Wikipedia. Perhaps it will work. I'm not even getting links to the Wikipedia because I am in English language. So unfortunately, I found some articles on different websites, but I hate the idea of a mining disaster at all. I am famously claustrophobic, so not a fan of that, I can tell you that. But rather than having me hunt down an article, why don't you just tell me what's up, Robin? Tell me what's up. Mobile Task Force Ikari, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a nice handful of marshmallows on your way past the commissary. I'm at my cover job and I'm falling asleep due to the rain and it being slow as hell right now. Also, the new recruits I dragged into watching the stream with me. Well, hello to you, new recruits, and yes, I may not be at my day job today, but wow, the rain is giving today a very, very mellow, melancholic vibe. It is quite the gray today around my neck of the woods as well. Happy Canadian Thanksgiving to those of you who seem to be celebrating in the chat. Goat's game, I will not notice you until you do something noticeable. That is the way of the world. Did Dr. Sherman say commissary? If you are getting marshmallows or melonade from the commissary, then it's the commissary. If you would like to go to the commissary, you shouldn't ask for a handful of marshmallows or melonade. All of this, for those who don't realize it, is a Homestar Runner reference, which is for the old people's internet. I'm not speaking in Uwu any more than Homestar Runner speaks in Uwu. It's not the same. Zadzior, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself a chicory coffee on your way past the commissary. Hello, I am new here. I apologize for my name. That is an anomaly in and of itself. It's Polish. Why shouldn't we include a blind grandma in Shy Guy's containment? So first of all, You don't have to apologize for your name, although I'm wondering how close I got to pronouncing it correctly. Fingers crossed, I did my best. Furthermore, yes, the SCP Foundation has numerous international language branches. And so perhaps if English is not your first language and you're having trouble reading the SCP Wiki, you can check out some of the other branches. Maybe your first language has a branch. That could be fun for you. Plus, the international branches have a lot of different groups of interest and anomalies. It's not all the same. Although we translate each other's articles, it gets wild out there. For instance, the Japanese branch definitely has a cat girl group of interest or something like that. Or a group of interest that manufactures cat girls. I don't remember which. And why shouldn't we include a blind grandma in Shaikai's containment? Well, Zadzior, why would we do that? Why would a blind grandma be necessary to containment? I don't see a purpose for having a blind grandma in there. Who was the first SCP? The first SCP was SCP-173. That is the first SCP that was ever written in the year 2007, and it inspired multiple other SCPs, and that's why we moved from 4chan to our own wiki, because there got to be so many of them clogging up the X board that we had to go make our own place for it. Good to see you in the chat, Amber. You may notice, or you may not notice, that we've switched over to using Billith's music on your recommendation. So thank you for the intel. And we're still working out the vibes, but Billith's going to help me with that as well. Robin, thank you for donating again. It's just that among the 8 miners that died was my grandfather. I didn't even get to know him, for his death was 24 years prior to my birth. That's incredibly tragic. I'm sorry to hear that you lost a family member in such a public and troubling incident. Sorry to hear it. Can SCP-294 kill SCP-682 since you can ask for liquid? Intern Ibrahim, the answer is no, because it cannot generate enough of the liquid. And even when we used an anomaly to manufacture more of the liquid that can kill 682, it was not able to fully, to the cellular level, destroy every cell of 682. So like Wolverine from the comics, it regenerated from very scant cells. Very unfortunate. Intern Freezer, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a fruit roll-up on your way past the commissary. Hello, Dr. Sherman. What is your end goal at Site-42? Well, if you are talking about in the SCP canon, our goal is to help the SCP Foundation contain anomalies. There's not really an end goal because the battle never stops. There's always more anomalies to contain and document, and we just got to do our best with that. But if you're talking about the goal of this YouTube channel, then you are in a scenario where my goal is to build up Site-42's subscriber count, engagement, revenue in a manner where we can sort of make like Markiplier and MatPat of Game Theory have done in the past, which is grow up a team of artists who can make bigger and better SCP projects. Now, right now, we're at a point where we can assist other groups, but we can't really do our own yet. So if a film crew wants to make an SCP project, I will be the first one there telling you guys about it and telling you to go put eyes on it and maybe donate to it as you are capable. That is why you guys are known as Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codename the Signal Boosters. When I say there's an SCP game or film or animation going on, you guys need to go over, comment, like, share it. That way more people see it in the YouTube algorithm. We can get them the support they need to keep making it. Projects like that at a large scale are very difficult for small creators, and if we can help them get what they need, that means they make the project. So, fingers crossed we can do that. Eventually, when we get large enough, you've seen Markiplier's Choose Your Own Adventure series and short films, and it's not Death of Sleep. It's not End of Sleep. What's the Sleep Markiplier thing? Markiplier, Edge of Sleep, right? Edge of Sleep? Yes, Edge of Sleep. So, I want to make short limited series. I want to make independent short films. I want to get up to making feature films of SCP with our ideas, with our own crews, because Amazon and Netflix will never touch our Creative Commons. We're going to have to do it ourselves, people. But that's going to require a lot more than what we have now. But I'm playing the long game. The more we're at it, the farther we get. I mean, I've been at this for 10 years, so hopefully we continue on. Desk. Yeah, I cannot increase the volume anymore, unfortunately. Due to my current tech setup in this acoustics booth, it is just not audible, unfortunately, the way things are. I am hoping to find some tracks that are audible. Otherwise, I'll have to work on a way to do it differently. Shazior, thank you for donating again to tell me how to pronounce your name. I hope Shazior or Chazior. Check. Chaz. Yeah. Chazior. Nice to meet you. And I can't have coffee. It fucks me up. Anomaly shit. You know how it is. Ah, all right. Well, then grab yourself a Slim Jim and proceed to snap into it. Soul Hunter, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself some turkey bacon on your way past the commissary. Hey, Doc, we have a new recruit who is going to interview Carl the Llama. Oh, dear Lord. I will tell you how it goes. Oh, and we sent the Meat Dragon to fight 682. Well, the Meat Dragon's not going to win, so what was the purpose of that? Meanwhile, keep your eyes open around that Carl bastard. Every time there's a person named Carl, not good things happen. Chazior, thank you for donating again. And why a blind grandma takes care of feeding Shy Guy safely. You saw nothing. We may also discover if Shy Guy may have any positive interactions with humans. So, A, we do know that SCP-096 is not sapient/sentient. Or if so, is at a barely level. It has never had a positive interaction with a human being, blind or otherwise. And we can feed 096 just fine without introducing a blind grandma in there. We have a set. It's working. We don't need to worry about that any further. Terragal, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a slice of key lime pie on your way past the commissary. The tree is immortal and will never scream. Well, the tree heals, anomalously heals, so immortality might not be on the table. But I'm not going to test that because I want it to scream, and if we destroy it completely, it will not be able to. So we're not going to test that immortality thing either. Soul Hunter, thank you for donating again. 682 is a good way to dispose of meat dragons. Well, don't we want to test the meat dragon? Shouldn't we put that in containment and run tests on that too? I don't want to destroy anomalies unnecessarily. How did I not fucking know or suspect the SCP Foundation has a Canadian division? How did I not suspect that? I don't know, Avery. It's a pretty good, just going right over your head there. You should have seen that coming. 4521 regenerates? Yes, intern Agatha, yes. When we cut a mouth into 4521 so it could scream, it healed over the next day. When we branded it with a hot iron, it healed over the next day. 4521 regenerates. People don't pay attention to it, but it is anomalous in more ways than one. Chazior, thank you for donating again. I propose we get a 6-pack of beer, Cain and Abel, and record any possible conversations. They don't converse when they meet. They fight. It's not... A 6-pack of beer is going to be for us watching the fallout. That's about it. Dr. Sherman, stop coping. It's a normal tree. Intern Kai, do not make me dock your paycheck for trying to gaslight a site director. It heals, and everybody who goes near it thinks there is an ear-piercing silence. It's not just me. I'm not crazy. The tree is anomalous AF, mate. How do you know the tree can scream? Intern Boland, you might not know this, but in real life, in the world's natural sciences, not anomalous science, not made-up fiction, real-life science, every plant screams when injured. It's on a frequency we can't hear as humans, which is excellent, because if we heard every plant screaming when a lawn was mowed, that would be horrifying. So, you're looking at every plant can scream, except this one. Except this one? What the hell's that about? Why is it so quiet? What's the deal? I want to know. Tell me, or scream, asshole tree. Are there any SCPs that look and act human? Well, intern Jacob, there are plenty of anomalies that are humans with anomalous abilities. So, easily, yes. That doesn't mean we treat them as humans, though. They are still objects. Anomalies are not he's or she's. They are its. They are anomalous. Will, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Chazior, thank you for donating again. So I recently seen a video of you learning about someone touching SCP-999 with a bad touch and your eyes turning black. Are you an anomaly? A long debated situation here at Site 42. I, of course, maintain that I am a non-anomalous, perfectly normal site director, as is my pen, a perfectly normal, non-anomalous pen, which is not a human pen, because if it were a human pen, it would be anomalous, and since it's not anomalous, it is not human. But due to videos like the one you have seen, and the indecisiveness of my author, I am stuck in a quantum superposition of being anomalous and non-anomalous at the same time. As they say in the SCP community, there is no canon. So, your guess is as good as mine, I guess. Deva and Taven Barker, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Terragal, thank you for donating again. All hail ear-piercing silence, all hail the tree. You tree fans. So freaking weird. Is SCP-67 a real SCP? Well, yes, SCP-67 is a anomalous fountain pen that when you hold it in your hand, it takes over your arm and either draws a very talented piece of art that you yourself would not be able to draw. Sometimes the drawings even come to life. Or it writes out your whole life story, even things you don't remember. And so it's a very interesting anomaly. It actually created SCP-085 with the help of being put through SCP-914, the... What's the phrase I'm looking for? Uh, 914, the Gearworks. That's what I was trying to think of. Just a malfunctioning AI. I don't know what you're talking about saying that Site 42 has lost subscribers or done anything to cause controversy. Our subscribers have been on a consistent upward swing. We're currently at 1,066,000 and going upwards. We have not lost subscribers. I'm curious as to why you think that. Serrano Ash, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some tuna tartare on your way past the commissary. Please let me out of containment. I promise never to drown anyone in honey again. I apologize to all the staff affected by me. I simply want to go back to SCP-999 to SCP signed SCP redacted. Listen, people still aren't putting honey in their tea after what you did. They're so nervous. So, you're going to have to wait there a little while longer. Can we get a time check? Junior Researcher Sally, we are currently 27 minutes into a 3-hour stream. So you have approximately 2.5 hours left in today's stream. Are you a bottom or a top kind of guy? I am hashtag annoyed and asexual that you would ask such a thing. Mobile Task Force Captain Hikari, thank you for what I believe is your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Make sure to grab yourself some roast pheasant on your way past the commissary. No one is messing with Abel. It's my assigned anomaly, and it took ages to get Abel to behave like a model anomaly in containment. We don't need another Fight Club incident anytime soon. Looks at Dr. Sherman. Hey! Hey, we do not have an anomalous Fight Club. Therefore, there shouldn't be any rules about not talking about the anomalous Fight Club, because there isn't one to talk about, right? We're not having an anomalous Fight Club. Not at all. We need that to be an actual hashtag. Well, intern Jack Dragon, go ahead and use it whenever you want. I coined it over on TikTok a couple years ago. It is yours. Do with it what you will. Forrest Connor, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a craft cream soda on your way past the commissary. We want Dr. Chair. Well, I do need to check in on something in the research lab, so good opportunity. Why don't you talk to about whatever you need to talk about Dr. Chair with, and I'll be right back. I hope you and Dr. Chair had a nice conversation about whatever subject was requiring of a Dr. Chair session. Meanwhile, we have found out that if you hit an instance of SCP-939, the dog entities, with the salsa hammer, the resulting salsa tastes faintly of dog food, which is not a salsa I would prefer. So we shouldn't use that in the break room. Chazior, thank you for donating again. So your class Schrodinger anomaly. Well, here's the deal. A Schrodinger, we don't have Schrodinger as an object class because object classes are meant for containment difficulty. And so Schrodinger describing having an anomaly or not would be a different kind of classification. Interesting, we'll have to look into this a little bit. Dark Duality, thank you for donating twice to the super chats right now. Make sure to grab yourself a Nuka-Cola Quantum on your way past the commissary. Told you all I saw Sherman with shadow eyes. So what? I don't need a pen to make living drawings. I was unfamiliar with that facet of your anomaly. We should really run some tests on that. As for the shadow eyes, freaking undecisive ass author. Ow! Stop it, okay. Punk ass. Ah! Okay. Dark Duality, thank you for also donating through the Ko-Fi as well. Thank you for making the effort because it charges lesser fees than YouTube does. If I can figure out the whole Stripe angle there, then maybe it'll be no fees at all. We'll have to see. I think I found a new Jesus, SCP-4477. I'll have to look into that real quick. I'll open a tab, but first, have you seen an Egyptian god? I think his name is Sobek. The look of this god might seem a tad familiar. Well, let me look up Sobek real quick. Are you claiming that SCP-682 bears some relation to the Egyptian god Sobek? Because the funny thing is, I would consider Sobek is more related to SCP-3579, codename the Insta-Gator. It might be the god of sending the gators through telephone lines. Furthermore, you mentioned 4477. Let's see what 4477 is. Codename Leave Room for Jesus. Party Crashers. Anomalous humanoid resembling common American cultural religious depictions of Jesus Christ. 4477 is currently in a coma and has been for the past 25 years. As current medical technology is not capable of prematurely ending a coma safely, 4477 cannot be aroused from this coma. It is currently believed that 4477 has anomalous properties which allow it to remain in this coma indefinitely. Once per week on either Friday or Saturday, an active event will occur. This begins with 4477 saying the name of a specific youth social gathering in the southeastern United States, along with enough information as to easily locate the party. 4477 vocalizes as such exactly 6 hours before the beginning of said social gathering. All such gatherings referred to in such a way involve the consumption of food communally and were planned at least 72 hours in advance. The average age of such a social gathering has also been under 23 in all recorded events with attendance of over 10. During the social gathering, 4477-1 instances will manifest whenever two individuals of opposite biological sex are closer than 30 centimeters apart. 4477 are physically identical. The -1s are physically identical to the original entity and will manifest 1 to 2 meters behind the couple of opposite biological sex. Instances will physically intervene between a couple and say, "Leave room for Jesus." They will then remain immobile except to remain between the couple, demanifesting when the couple moves more than 30 centimeters apart. Note, this only occurs for couples of opposite biological sex, regardless of any sexual or romantic attraction. Opposite sex couples who have a purely platonic relationship, are of the same social gender, or are legally married are still affected. Couples of the same biological sex, even those engaged in any form of copulation, are never affected. So we have a Jesus in a coma, a la the movie Dogma. And, well, that wasn't Jesus, that was God. And it appears to, for lack of a better term, cock block you. Maybe we need to wish this Jesus worked on our staff members who try to fornicate with the anomalies. Okay, so is that our fifth Jesus? Outside of the main four and Dr. Light, who doesn't count because she's not contained? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that this is another Jesus. A fifth Jesus. Son of a gun. Desk. We have to use proper terminology here at the Foundation. We have to be clear and specific. And Cuck Jesus is not going to work as a label because it is not also intervening and taking over the romantic altercation. It is simply interrupting the altercation, which is why it is now known as Cockblock Jesus. Cockblock Jesus, SCP-4477, joins the echelons of the anomalous Jesus alongside SCP-5991, Vor Jesus, SCP-3305, Bread Jesus, SCP-029-J, Uber Driver Jesus, and SCP-6542, Milk Jesus, aka Cheesus. So, Bread Jesus, Uber Driver Jesus, Milk Jesus, Vor Jesus, and now Cockblock Jesus. Also very funny, if Cockblock Jesus were to get a theme song, it should definitely be to the tune of the Cherry Poppin' Daddy's #1 hit, Zoot Suit Riot. Cockblock Jesus, Jesus! Love it. Yes, I do see that, Cockblock Jesus is making the auto mod very upset. So that is unfortunate that is what it is. I can't change the name. Craig, thank you for your 5-month member message as a mobile task force captain here at Site-42. We appreciate your membership and your service, especially the vicious fighting you're doing to help us win the battle against the White Names. Good evening, Doctor. I heard the reptile laughing earlier. Might need to prepare for recontainment. No cause for alarm. Well, if it's gonna get out, that is a cause for alarm. We should put on alarms. Andang, Lamborghini. Welcome to Site-42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Chazior, thank you for donating again. I propose a new anomaly classification. Classification Schrodinger for anomalies, people in superposition in relation to anomalous forces. You saw nothing. And, well, we'll have to submit that to the overseers and see if they deem it necessary. Terragol, thank you for donating again. Definitely no anomalous fight club, wink wink nudge nudge. Also, I have a test to try getting the tree scream. I can strike it with my dragon lightning. Strike a normal tree with your dragon lightning, so at first, so we can see how it affects the tree, and therefore know that it won't fully delete the tree from existence. Because if we destroy the tree, we can't make it scream, so we gotta be careful. Serrano Ash, thank you for donating again. Dr. Chair said you should release me from my containment, as I promise not to put anyone important in the next liquid I find. Well, Dr. Chair isn't the site director. Right? Administrator, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself an Italian hoagie on your way past the commissary. Why does Foundation have better universe traveling technology than space? Well, it all depends on your canon, but dimensional technology came into vogue very quickly due to finding wormholes, no-clip areas, that sort of thing. Whereas space, we are still beholden to the laws of physics and the laws of finances. Notice how space travel is in the current era. It's not that far. We are more advanced than the general public, but it's still a very expensive endeavor instead of just finding a wormhole and learning to open and close it. Let me just shoot this off real quick as soon as the browser refreshes. Alrighty. Dr. Sherman, more likes than viewers. Thank you for the intel, intern Agatha. Congratulations, Containment Hazard Assessment Team. You have successfully gotten the likes above the viewers, which means the YouTube algorithm will favor us this day, will bring us more prospective SCP Foundation staff members, and we will make them SCP fans, one way or t'other. So thank you for your service, Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codename The Signal Boosters. Ah, yes, Death. Thank you for reminding me that we actually had a stream subject today. So, the stream subject of the day, I've decided, is, hey, I have in the past written multiple SCPs, and I don't normally talk about them at length, but today's the day. With 2 hours and 15 minutes left on the clock, if you guys have any questions about the SCPs that I have personally written, background lore, things you want to know about the writing process, if you want to help yourself become a better SCP writer, today, that is our stream topic. Interview with SCP author Sherman Christensen, my author. And so, let's yap! Now I'm waiting for the 30-minute delay on chat to getting to hear what you guys says. What are all the SCPs you've written? Well, Neptune, if you go in to the pinned link in chat, that is my Site42 support link, and it leads to all the other links you can find us at. And one of those links is my SCP Foundation author page. So there, you're able to see all of the SCPs I have personally written, as well as different voice lines or audio effects that I have contributed to as well. And so in there, you'll find a couple sound effects and voice ones, but you'll also find the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 articles, or 6 articles and 1 tale that I have personally written for the SCP Foundation. So, SCP-3086 is Death of the Author, etc. is the code name, but really it's that one with George the Chinchilla. SCP-3302, codename The Jim Look, after Jim from The Office. SCP-2700-EX, codename What I Did for Love, or the Breast Cancer Anomaly, or Non-Anomaly. SCP-3802, codename Hair Growth by Dedo, which is a hair tonic, quote-unquote. Ignorance is Bliss is the name of the only tale I have written, which takes place in a post-apocalyptic SCP Terminator-like future. SCP-5886, codename The Ballad of Jim Biggio, which I do see a question about in the chat, and I'll answer it in just a second. And finally, SCP-5542, codename Cake by the Ocean. So, those are the SCPs I have written. And so, A.A. Blackwood, why did you decide to make Jim Biggio a black man? Just for general representation purposes. I have written a lot of articles. I don't really specify the race of characters. I don't really care that much. But when the character is an anomaly, you need to specify something. And so I just decided just not another white guy. There are plenty of white guys on the SCP Wiki, so representation could be given to someone else. Coming back and refreshing the chat. What is the favorite SCP you wrote? You asking me what my favorite child is? Come on, man, that's so hard. But I will tell you, it's basically a three-way tie between SCP-3086, my first SCP, and it's a audio-only format screw, so George the Chinchilla is great for that. 2700-EX is a deeply personal piece, and you can tell that because it really resonated with the community, hit them right in the feels. Write what you know they like to say in Hollywood. And finally, The Ballad of Jim Biggio is based on a song I really, really have a strong attunement with, and I tried to put that mood into the article, and I think it did a pretty good job. And so I enjoy that one as well. Wasteland Ranger, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some sugar bombs on your way past the commissary. Sticky note on the coffee machine. Hey there, I couldn't find the SCP pill that cures everything. Do you know where it is? Love, Serpent's Hand. It is under such lock and key that researcher Harry Perry got tackled trying to steal an iteration of it to save his wife. Did not go well for him. You're not getting the location. Ooh, I have one about my favorite SCP-3302. Did we ever find out how the letter got in the D-Cell's chamber? So, junior researcher Sally, we have not figured out how that letter got into that person's cell. I am assuming, as we say in the log, it seems that there's some sort of extra-dimensional viewership of this person of interest. So, in that case, it seems like perhaps it got there through some extra-dimensional venue, since it is extra-dimensional fan mail. Nafisa, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some chowder on your way past the commissary. And since you didn't leave a message with your donation, simply thank you for your generosity. Why does George's creator have a hard-to-pronounce name? Well, first of all, Sizzlack is not that hard to pronounce if you know how to pronounce it. What it is it's hard as hell to spell. I never remember the order of the letters in Saul Sizzlack's name. Even to this day, even though I named him Sizzlack, I don't remember why I did that. But, yes, I also decided that I wanted Saul Sizzlack to be kind of a scumbag not a great person, not doing well in life. And so I went to inspiration from the Mo Sizlak from The Simpsons, who is the most sad sack to ever sad sack. Did you get your necklace from Etsy? You know, the North remembers it was a gift, but I think yes. I believe they came in a 4-pack with multiple colors. It was either Etsy or Amazon, I don't remember. Again, they were a gift. SCP Redacted, thank you for donating again. Dear Serpent's Hand, please free me from my cell. No inviting anomalous groups of interest into our facility. Bad. Dado, my absolute beloved. He's so based. Oh, yes, the donut for cops by Dado. Very, based, as the children would say. I'm getting a message from the back channels that the necklace did come from Etsy. Hi there. Thanks for watching. Cake by the ocean. Well, I mean, as long as you get a piece of the cake by the ocean that wasn't walked on, I guess that's fine. Sleepyhead, you're gonna have to be more specific. Which Jesus do you think is the way? Because we just discovered a 5th Jesus that we have in containment. And so, you gotta pick one. Is the way that you're speaking of Uber driver Jesus, which would mean that you want to, the way is driving cars for people? That would be SCP-029-J. Is the way SCP-5991, codename Vor Jesus, in which you go and swallow whole any human being who eats an entire Christian Bible with no condiments. Seems like a pretty weird way to me. Bread Jesus, 3305, is at least pretty normal with the whole healing people thing. So you could go with that, but that means you want to be cannibalized because you want people to eat you. We could say it's 447, the newly discovered cockblock Jesus. I mean, that sounds like what a lot of weird conservative Christians think the way is. And of course, then you've got, where am I? Ah, yes, Milk Jesus, i.e. Cheesus, SCP-6542. And then the way of Christ is just to eat more dairy products. So you gotta be more specific with your Jesus, because we have so many in containment, I don't know what the way is. No, Desk. I was talking about the one you pinged. I just like being able to make the joke at them when they're here sometimes. Chester Factory, Clown Milk Jesus is not currently contained by the Foundation, i.e. it doesn't have a SCP article, so it's not currently in containment, i.e. canon. Your face looks slimmer. Well, Thank you, Intern Matthew. I am increasing my physical exercise with the Foundation Fitness Initiative as I am recovering from this ankle injury. I was out of commission for several months. You know, you gain some weight when you're stuck on the couch, but I am working out. The most important thing, remember, it's not really about weight so much as about just being strong, being able to lift heavy things or do a single pull-up so you can climb up a ledge if a zombie is chasing you, or being able to outrun whatever anomaly there is. So, to the point, I mean, I have seen some crazy gymnastics from people who are so-called overweight. So, remember, although aesthetics are nice, they're also judged by current trends. It used to be physically attractive to be pale and fat, for lack of a better word, because that meant you were rich. And that meant that you could sit inside all day, eat whatever you wanted. You weren't starving and working in the fields, i.e., lithe and tan. But now that being poor means working in a factory or working in a cubicle farm all day, now it is poor to be fat and pale, and it's rich to have time off to go lay in the sun or go to the gym, i.e., it is now rich to be tan and slender. So keep an eye on that when you're thinking about what's attractive and all, because most of the time these trends are just another form of capitalism inherent in your brain. And yet, I still live in the system, so I'm like, oh, my face looks thinner, thank you. Because I am a flawed human being as well. Nafisa, thank you for donating again. Hey, what are you thinking about Dr. Kondraki? Well, I find Dr. Kondraki to be both hilarious and tragic. I, for one, am one of the people who likes when the SCP community writes silly stories. So I think Duke Till Dawn is basically an SCP Looney Tunes episode. I love that story, cheesy as it may be. People harp too much on the author insert era as being too silly. I like silly sometimes. You know, if it's well-written silly. And then, you know, all the stuff with the butterflies, all the stuff about being kind of a advocate for ethical treatment of anomalous individuals. That's very nice. The tragedy of his suicide is rough to read, or suicide if you don't believe the stories. So, yeah, crazy. Oh, chat needs a quick refresh. Coming back online. He is not dead. Well, Nafisa, there is no canon, so you could be right. In fact, I was really mean to TikTok yesterday because someone made a, oh yeah, well, what about this, about 239? And I told them, hey, you do know 239 was killed, right? The Witch Child, because Clef said it was going to terminate the Witch Child, and then I found a story where Clef indeed terminated the Witch Child. And I was very proud when several people in the comments said, well, hey, there is no canon, so in my canon, the Witch Child is still alive. I like that! They're getting the vibe! They're getting the rules of the community! Good for them! Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Party Pooper Jeebus. Ha 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 ha. If you don't want to say cock block Jesus, I guess you could go with Party Pooper Jesus. And meanwhile, on the Ko-Fi, I think you donated again there too, so thank you for donating there again as well. Do it surprise you that a former member of Are We Cool Yet has art powers? That is how I survived breaches too. I just saw a bunker door in the nearest wall and hide in a fully equipped room until it's over. Oh, I always forget about that. Sorry. There's a lot of people in the Containment Hazard Assessment team. Sometimes backstories get swapped in my brain. I will try to remember, though. I'll do my best. Meanwhile, reminder that Kondraki, who we were just talking about, also has a background, was a Are We Cool Yet artist before coming to the Foundation. I didn't know that until recently. Someone told me about it. What's that SCP that's your arch nemesis? Well, Neptune, you gotta be more specific because I have several nemesi comparing which canon you're looking at. In some universes, the Plague Doctor, SCP-049, is my nemesis because it killed my bestie, Dr. Raymond Ham. In some universes, my nemesis is SCP-4521 because that son of a bitch tree won't scream. In some universes, SCP-729 SJ is my nemesis because of course that goddamned thing is. And finally, one could say that my nemesis is every person infected with SCP-022-J, because titanium is not a super metal, and you're all crazy for using it for wrong purposes. What about the white names? Oh, Dr. Frogman! The white names are cursed people who we are trying to bring to salvation. I would never hate the white names. I want to help them. I want to help them ascend to green namehood. That would be so much better for them than being stuck as white names. It's so tragic, I could cry. We need to help those white names. They deserve all the help we can give them. Scare and Ashir, welcome to Site42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. SCP Redacted, thank you for donating again. We can label them like SCPs. Jesus CB, Jesus C, Jesus V, etc. Also, I think I produced another anomalous liquid. A bucket just appeared in the corner of my cell. Sounds gross. Don't like that. So the white name Curse is one of your enemies. Yes, the white name Curse is one of my enemies that I'm trying to successfully stamp out. Oh, as a tragic reminder, chat, I was looking at membership statistics this morning because, as we all know, the membership goals for the YouTube channel are thus: if we get to 2,500 members on the channel, then I am supposed to, at your request, dye my hair pink next time. And furthermore, at 5,000 members, not only do we unlock the full breadth of allowances of channel emojis that YouTube will allow us. It's kind of rude that they make you have 5,000 members to unlock all of the emoji slots. That's like, come on, guys. But we're still fighting for it, because then Junior Researcher Sally will grace us with a menagerie of custom Site42 emojis, and will also gain a promotion to Senior Researcher. Our current membership total is 1,698. We have dipped just below 1,700. Although I did see over in the chat, Dr. Parker, welcome to Mobile Task Force Captainship here at Site42. We appreciate your membership and your service in the battle against the white names. And because of that, we are now at a total of, what was it? 1,699. And so, we are going to continue our quest to get to that 2,500 for pink hair, and to get to 5,000 for full emojis. Oh yes, and you guys made me promise to purchase a maid dress so that the stream for celebration there would be a cat-made waifu dimension stream. This is what you wanted. I don't know why, but I'm a man of my word. Mountain Poo 67 and the Bro 67. Welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. One more Jesus, SCP-8612. You gotta be kidding me. You're finding more Jesuses as we speak? More Jesus? All right, 8612, let's see if it qualifies. 8612. It looks like an action figure or a doll. 50 small rubber figurines, each approximately 1.2 to 1.4 inches in size, depicting a Jesus. The figures lacked identifying brand, manufacturer markings. Each instance identifies itself as the one true Jesus Christ and vehemently denies the illegitimacy of the others. Speak all the languages. Does not require sustenance. Adhere to different Christian sects. No hostility towards humans. But it produces headaches, in extreme cases, existential crises when talking to researchers. Man, they're all... I don't know. I think because it's a vast collection of like 50 of them, and they all claim to be the Jesus, I'm not going to allow that to be a Jesus itself. It sounds like a bunch of toys that think they're Jesus, and they were even pretty convincing for some researchers. But I don't think there's any proof that they are an actual Jesus here. I'm gonna vote against including 8612. Can you recommend us articles written by POC members of the community? I really want to diversify. So, and by the way, you with this name, since you've come in here with several times in the symbols and I can almost not read them, are you called Polari? Can you just clarify your name for me when I refer to you, please? Just so I can make sure I say your name right. Furthermore, the thing is... Okay, good, Polari. So, Polari. When we look at what is called the SCP Community Survey. The first thing you're going to note is that the 2024 survey or the 2025 survey showed a lot of... let's see, where was it? I guess I'll start at 2023. As a percentage of people who responded to the survey, the SCP community is 55% white on the English wiki, and then between 1 and 7% of other ethnicities. So the reason I tell you that is because you got to find the authors who are POC. Just make your way through the run. The one I know of off the top of my head is Rounderhouse, because Rounderhouse is a devilishly handsome individual of a brown complexion. I believe an Indian heritage is in order there, but that's just a guess off the top of my head, and I could be wrong. But what you should be... I don't know if there are any list of SCPs by POCs. I don't know, let me check. SCPs written by POC. Why did that just take me back to the survey results? SCPs written by POC. Maybe it was brought up on the subreddit or something? yeah, the main thing I would do is you would have to find out which authors are POC. People of color, Agatha. So unfortunately, I can't give you too clear of a image on that, unfortunately, but I hope you can find some. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. SCP-5676, codename Tumor Jesus. 5676, let's have a look. Codename Jesus Loves You More Than You Know. A potentially sentient cardiac tumor that bears a strong visual resemblance to popular, primarily American depictions of Jesus Christ, which is on the heart of a 23-year-old Caucasian American female. Was not raised in a Christian household nor educated at a nominally Christian school. It primarily holds itself in the thumbs up position, so it's literally a Buddy Christ tumor. Interesting. Again, I'm gonna say this is more of a object or anomaly in the image of Jesus and not a Jesus itself when compared to the other anomalies. So I'm gonna say, I mean, it sounds like the person of interest they talked to said something crazy along the lines of, you need to have Jesus in your heart. And then literally, yeah, the Lord is in all of our hearts. I knew it! I knew the cliche before it came up. Not like it's a bad cliche, it's a trope. But I guessed it. So, yes. I'm not going to say that's actual Jesus in a way that we're going to call it a Jesus on the list. So I'm still sticking with a list of five. Five Jesus. Forrest, thank you for donating again. Would ghosts be SCPs in the SCP universe? If a ghost is contained, then yes, and we do contain a lot of spectral entities. Do you support the LGBTQ community? Very much so. The SCP Foundation is an arts community. As you can imagine, there's a lot of queer folk in there. We are down with the queer folk. In fact, I, Dr. Sherman, am of the asexual spectrum in the LGBTQIA side of things. Although duly noted that my author, my creator, is a cis-het white guy. So that is a conversation in and of itself. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Yeah, I told you about Kondraki and Are We Cool Yet? Well, thank you for the intel, Dark Duality. Yes, I knew it was someone. It makes sense it was you. Coming back to the subject for a moment. I am looking for more questions about the SCPs that I have personally written. If you have questions about my anomalies, this is your time to ask them. Is SCP-67 codename Mason a Polyon class? Cannot be contained. Too specific, too big, and is a threat to all. Well, remember the real SCP-067 is the fountain pen. We've talked about that already this stream. But if we were to talk about the meme, then that would be, yes, the way people describe it, they describe it as an Apollyon class end of the world threat, because it's funny to take something so silly as a child saying the word 6-7 and blow it up to be a world-ending threat. It is a kind of silly the internet enjoys. Who would win in a fight? The Jim Look or Cake by the Ocean? So, here's the thing. Jim Biggio, or no, you didn't say Jim Biggio, you said the Jim Look. So, the Jim Look is just a DVD that if you watch enough of The Office on that DVD, it makes you do the gym look every time someone says something that you deem stupid, which can be rather socially awkward. So it's just a DVD. Meanwhile, Cake by the Ocean is some sort of entity that can produce glamours like the folk who live in the forest with no name, and eats children. So Cake by the Ocean has an entity, and the gym look doesn't. So by default, Cake by the Ocean would win in a fight. Matt, that brass hat alley cat. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Get yourself, I guess, first aid kit on your way past the commissary, because, warning, SCP-0 containment breach? We don't have a 0. We start at 1. That's what the database starts at. What's the story behind your necklace? Intern Leander, there's not much of one. I got this and several other necklaces of various colors like it as gifts. And it's just I am a type of person who enjoys yoga for the physical fitness, the combination of strength, endurance, balance, and flexibility that one needs to be a well-rounded fitness person, and as well as the calming of the mind and the centering of self that takes place during yoga practices. So I wear a lot of yoga beads and yoga necklaces. I also have various other necklaces that I wear as fashion accessories, but when wearing a collared shirt like this, I like it as sitting in the space, whereas t-shirts I prefer a more dangly necklace. Fashion. The moon haunts you. Well, intern Riek, there are several SCPs that equate to moons haunted. So, yeah. The moon doth haunt us pretty often. Damn, now I gotta ask. Author Sherm, did you make researcher Sherm asexual just because you were uncomfortable with him being sexualized? Or is there like a different reason? AA Blackwood, excellent question. So first and foremost, author Sherman is not uncomfortable with being, with sexuality in general. I'll say that much. Not a prude, not uncomfortable with sexuality. That is author Sherman. But during the early days on TikTok, when people would dress as sexy plague doctors and do dances, it became funny for me, the buttoned-up SCP researcher, to chastise people for drooling and attempting to fraternize with the anomalies. And so it became a shtick to the point where a fan said, hey, I headcanon Dr. Sherman as asexual based on their reaction to everyone horn-dogging over the anomalies. And author Sherman said, oh, I think you're right. And this could be some well-needed ace rep. And so that is how Dr. Sherman became asexual. It was a fan suggestion. And just like the SCP Wiki, sometimes you roll with it and you're like, oh, that's actually really good. I'm going to include that in my own canon. And so the same way that Desk, our valiant moderator, overtook original author Clef's canon of Clef by just being that darned into Clef and the lore, so too did a fan take a aspect of my character away from me due to a casual inference. And so, yeah, that is how that went. What's your favorite SCP you've made? I refuse to pick a number one favorite, but it's a tie between not Cake by the Ocean. It's a tie between What I Did for Love, George the Chinchilla, and Ballad of Jim Biggio. I can narrow it down to half of them, but that's as far as I can get. Hey, Doctor, I was wondering what you think of Dr. Entertainment. Anyone who makes more anomalies is on my bad side. It means more containment. It means more resources. It means more paperwork. It annoys me. Forrest, thank you for donating again. Uh-oh, they found me. Free SCPs. I don't want to be contained. Too many chefs ruin the pudding. Counts for SCP containment groups as well. Help. So, get... I guess you're going to be a D class for trying to free the anomalies. Too bad, so sad. What would happen if SCP-2317 was released? Well, first, Fruits. Thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself some juicy fruit on your way past the commissary. Some fruit salad. Yummy, yummy at the commissary, I should say. And 2317, isn't that the sequel to The Scarlet King? Yes, Door to Another World. So, we do not know what's going to happen when this entity is released. We can only assume it's going to be very, 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 very bad. Are there any tales relating to 2317? To check, I'm going to the Series 3 page, and I'm clicking on the Tales Edition list, so I can see all tales related to the canon SCPs. So, 2317 has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 associated anomalies. And none of them seem to be it being released. Although I do, well, one of them is. One of them is, and that is SCP-2317-J, codename A Door to Another Parody. In this one, the entity inside's chain breaks, and it tries to get out the door, but it's too fat to fit. It can't get through the door to our universe, thankfully. SCP-2317-J is goddamn hilarious. You guys need to read that one. Put it on your reading list. Or listen to the reading here on the Site42 channel. We did 2317-J a long time ago, so listen to our recording of it. The Crazy Gamer, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some Mutter's Milk on your way past the commissary. And since you didn't leave a message, thank you for your generosity in donating. Matt the Brass Hat Alley Cat, thank you for donating again. Considering the secrecy around SCP-1, I can only imagine what SCP-0 could be. You can't designate something number 0, because then it wouldn't exist. What are you talking about? This is not how data entry works, man. Jonathan, thank you for your first donation of today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a fruity Odie bar on your way past the commissary. Dr. Sherman, there is a cult following some kind of orb that is a body-snatching hive mind with a medic trigger phrase, i.e. the orb. Well, let us isolate the town where it's located. Let's see if we can send in... Let's see if we can work out the orb's trajectory and clear the path in front of it. Evacuate the people, that way its cult can't get bigger. From there, we'll start working on containment protocols. Who wins in a fight? What I did for love or Gym Look? Well, again, the Gym Look is just a DVD. And what I did for love, there is no anomaly at all, but at least there is human beings involved who could beat a DVD in a fight. So what I did for love wins. Or should I say that because there is no anomaly at all, that the DVD wins by default? I think I like that one better. Dr. Sherman, can you do 10 minutes of the stream in a baby voice? Why would I do that? For what purpose? You have disturbed me. What is the largest SCP you have contained? Well, Noli, technically speaking, we have a lot of infinite anomalies, so that's as big as it can get. But for non-infinite anomalies, I would consider SCP-5909 the 2.7 light-year long shrimp. You saw nothing, by the way. Hey, Doc, author, just want to say thank you for helping me work on getting over social anxiety and asking questions and stuff. These help a lot. What's your favorite SCP article you've made? So I already answered your second question earlier, but, and it's a tie between those 3 articles I listed, but I'm glad to hear that you're getting better at social interactions. As I said in a previous stream, social anxiety is like a lot of anxiety, which is worry, which is can be fixable through exposure therapy and practice. Sociality is a muscle that you can work on. You can work on learning how to converse with people, how to listen and react to people in a way that keeps conversation flowing, but that takes practice. So it's good to start with safe people like your family, and then work on to like people you're interested in and work your way up until you have lots of friends and stuff. By the way, I am way back in chat right now. I'm working my way down because I want to make sure I'm not missing any questions about my SCPs, since that is the theme of the stream. Shouldn't DJ Cactus decide if you are Ace since he owns your soul? Dr. Frogman, I'm the guy now. Just because Cactus wrote it doesn't mean I didn't take control of it. I'ma say it's George because you talk about it the most. Well, Desk, what's the word I'm looking for? George is easy to talk about because it is a simple entity. What I Did for Love is a more complex story. Jim Biggio is another simple entity as well, although it comes up a lot less often because it is just a dude speedster. But, yeah, George is strange enough but simple enough to talk about memetically, much like the popular articles on the wiki are all simple memetic concepts. And in the back channels, I was distracted for a second. Let me point out that when I said safe people like your family, I mean if your family are safe people. I am, in fact, aware that some people's families are not safe, and therefore you should practice interacting with people who are safe, regardless, even if that person is like a therapist. Shirt looks great, Doc. Well, thank you. We're repping our Goofy movie fandom today. Do you know what happened to SCP-5091? I am so familiar with that designation. What is 5091? Why is it in my head? 5091. No, I'm not familiar with Sir Skeleton. It just has a similar designation to anomalies I do know. So, no, I have no idea what happened to this, and it seems like a pretty long article. So, unfortunately, I do not have an answer for you right now. What happened to the floating hand spider? Intern Cosmo, there is actually a new floating hand spider update over on the Site42 TikTok if you follow us over there. We have started making some shorts, and the way the process goes is I make the shorts on TikTok because I enjoy their editor, and then we re-upload it to all the other platforms on a schedule. And so if you want to see it now, you can go to the TikTok. Ralph and Nightlight, welcome to Site42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. And by the way, Site42 staff in our containment hazard assessment team here, i.e. chat, we have currently hit 90 minutes of today's stream. That is halfway through today's 3-hour stream. So please be aware of the time check and make sure to get your questions in while we have them. Can SCP-067 move freely? Isn't it just a pen that doesn't do anything until picked up? Correct. 6-7 cannot move freely. Someone has to pick up the pen. Now, that someone can be SCP-682. It can, and it even took over 682's arm and started writing things before things got freaked out in that test. How many SCPs are there? Well, we are currently in the midst of the SCP-9000 contest, in which over 100 SCPs have been submitted to that contest. So we are definitely over 9,000 SCP articles on the English Wiki. Now, that doesn't even include SCPs on the foreign language branches, so there's even more than that. Catching up on the donos real quick. Dark Duality, thank you for donating twice again. Thank you for donating twice again. I see 7 made by you, but it says 4. Hair growth? What do you mean you see 7 made by you, but it says 4? What do you mean? Oh, did I not update my author page somewhere where it says I've written more SCPs than I have? That sounds like a thing I do. Also a tail, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, I need to strike through, edit that, and up it to 6. Because it would be 6 plus a tail. So thank you for that. I will correct that. You know what? Right now, before I forget. All right, so come down here. Editing the wiki, because I'm a member of the SCP wiki. And so I can do some strike through to make this more correct. If I do it like that, will it work? Oh no, I want to make it separate. Ba-ba. Ba-ba. And then ba-ba-ba. Preview to make sure that I formatted it correctly. 3, 4, 6 SCP articles. Lovely. Saved. Thank you, Dark Duality, for letting me know about that. I am happy to update it. Jenna, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Go ahead and get yourself a York Peppermint Patty on your way past the commissary. And since you didn't send a message with your... Oh, in your second donation, you did send a message, so thank you for donating again. Bob got killed by the giant bird, a.k.a. SCP Redacted. Damn it, Bob, I told you not to go in there. Everyone's, oh, I bet you can't get past it. Yeah, turned out Bob couldn't. Idiot. Dr. Parker, thank you for your first donation to today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a Klondike bar on your way past the commissary. 049 stole my clipboard. Well, I wouldn't scuffle with 049 to get it back, because if you touch 049, you will be dead. So let's just let the bird have it. Forrest Connor, thank you for donating again. D-Class, Dr. Sherman, you can't be serious. Well, I am serious. If you try to get anomalies freed, you go into the D-Class. Alright, double checking that I haven't missed anything over here. Good, all clear. Mark Waffle, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some sausage links on your way past the commissary. Dear Dr. Sherman, we, chat, are not a cognitohazardous SCP, but if we were. Oh, the Containment Hazard Assessment Team is not a cognitohazardous SCP, but if we were. Well, if you were, then it would probably be affecting me in a way that I would be missing work and trapped here in my office with several staff members trying to break in and get me, but I'm being hypnotized by a chat that is going by. That's what I would see about that. Dr. Sherman, what of your SCPs did you enjoy writing the most? Also, have you written an SCP that didn't do well? And if you did, do you have any advice for new authors in chat? So, of the SCPs that I have personally written, I believe the one I enjoyed writing the most was SCP-5886, The Ballad of Jim Biggio. Because my writing process by default is I get myself, it's usually late at night because I get off work late at night, and I throw on some music I want to write to. I turn out most of the lights and I put on party lights because I like it when there's like multicolored lights going and rotating. I like a vibe. I light a candle for some good smells. I get a vibe going. Maybe I have a couple anomalous beverages with me, some beveraginos, so to speak. And I just put on some music zone and write. And my favorite is when I do short articles that I can just get done in one sitting. And that was what Jim Biggio was. I just sat down and burned through it. It was real good. Enjoyed myself in that time. Some of my other articles, they took longer because they're more thorough. And I get bored so easily, that damnable neurodivergence. And so writing long articles or writing them over several days, I love making things, but it's so hard to pay attention long enough. And so I did the best I could there. Advice for new authors would be finding your writing vibe, because not everybody writes the same way. And so perhaps you have a process that gets you through writing. And if so, utilize it. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again through the Ko-Fi this time. I think most of the Mr. and Miss things is trafficked people, and not to mention the child that was forced to test candy, and maybe Fact Wondertainment is connected to Marshall Carter and Dark, and Are We Cool Yet? And that Marshall is Wondertainment's first name, so yeah, I feel safer here with SCP. Well, yes, I do declare that all of the Mr. and Miss things, I believe they are trafficked in one way or another. I don't remember any of them or volunteers for that process, although I'm sure there might be one. Meanwhile, yes, I don't really like the universe where Marshall Carter and Dark is Wondertainment. I don't know, that crossover feels weird to me based on the ethos of Marshall Carter and Dark versus the ethos of Wondertainment. But hey, maybe that is a thing some people like, and if so, I am happy for them. Dr. Sherman, there's a mimic. Well, Jenna, thank you for donating again, and stay away from it. Get security to your wing where you are, and let them handle it. Forrest, thank you for donating again. All right, I'll behave myself. I'm scared. Yeah, you damn well better. Blackout Wolf, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a craft root beer on your way past the commissary. I think the Plague Doctor has the Gender Stone again. Well, not shocking, SCP-049 is currently working with a mobile task force in return for unlimited access to the gender-switching stone, so it's not a problem in this case. I'm Suction Cup Man! You can't kill me, Doctor! I don't care if you're Suction Cup Man! You're not going to be destroyed because we don't destroy anomalies. You saw nothing about that. Instead, we're going to contain you in a room, and since it's a cubic room, yeah, you can suction cup all over you want over those walls, but you're not going to get out, Suction Cup Man. You're stuck there in a box where you belong. Intern Jenna, thank you for donating again. This stairway lasting forever. Well, perhaps you went into the wrong stairway trying to get away from the mimic? Be careful. Peanut Babe, welcome to Site-42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Right, I'm clocking out for the last time as a captain. Next time you see me, I'll be an overseer. Oh, Craig Thomas Taylor, you're getting an upgrade. A promotion. Well, congratulations. I look forward to celebrating your overseership when it comes to pass. Thanks, Doc, for getting me back to having fun in art and starting streaming. Well, I'm very happy to help inspire art in any sense. And by the way, your doodles are fantastic fun, so I'm very glad that I got you up and running for sure. And yes, holy cow, we have a total of 6 months of daily streams under our belt after today, people. Isn't that crazy? What are the limits of George the Chinchilla? Well, it depends on the canon and the universe. So in the article, George started by being limited to being written text or drawings. And now that text could be on a text, that text or drawing could be on paper, in which case it was contagious to other pieces of paper, or in a text document on a computer, it could infect other text documents on the computer and go through email to other people's computers, which made it a lot more technologically problematic. But they could still be deleted or destroyed, which made it easy enough to contain until researcher Evans made a boneheaded decision to tell it what happened to its paw, Sol Sislak. At which point, when it learned about what happened to Sol Sislak, it went crazy sicko mode, and it leveled up to have the ability to infect speech by taking over your brain. At which point, as friend of the channel, Yossi Posi, said, it would end up in a GK class end of narrative scenario where every mind on Earth was taken over by George if they simply talked about George. And so you couldn't talk about it or refer to it, otherwise it took over your brain. Big woof for that universe. Jonathan, thank you for donating again. Dr. Sherman, the spherical entity seems to be moving toward a population center. I suggest we interrupt it with a 5-inch thick lead box. Do you think it'll go right into the box? Do you think the followers would try to move the box? Think this plan through, because we're risking people's lives here. Still evacuate the population center just in case. Say it's like a gas leak or something. Intern Jenna, thank you for donating again. I forgot my gut. I get grabbed by shadow hands. Up. Well, I hope you don't come back as a shadow person. That would be unfortunate. Rin Lee, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Okay, Dr. Sherman, on I think it was your last live, one of my friends, Bread, donated and said I was autistic. I did not tell him to say this. I do not know how you did, but sorry. Also, when pink hair. Well, Ollie, I hope that whatever's going on between you and your friend is okay. Strange. Anyways, pink hair is when we hit 2,500 green names on the channel, of which we are currently at 1,699, I believe. And so we are more than halfway there, because halfway there would be 1,250. But we need a final push to get to 2,500, because then the pink hair happens. And schedule-wise, I have a hair color appointment at the end of the month. So if you can get it by the end of the month, then it'll be sooner than you think. But if we miss the deadline, it will then be a couple months down the line, because I do a couple months between color appointments. John McCauley, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Were you listening to the Ballad of Jane Doe VRO? I don't know what you mean by the Ballad of Jane Doe. I'm unfamiliar with that song, but the song that I wrote, SCP-58862 and about, was a song called The Ballad of Barry Allen by the band Jim's Big Ego. That is a song about how sad it must be to be the Flash. And you'll notice that's what SCP-5886 is also about. Checking down the chat, 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 checking on the chat, checking on the chat, checking on the chat. Oh boy, there's a lot of chat that I'm behind. And now it's refreshed, so I lost everything. Damn it. Blackout Wolf, thank you for donating again. You didn't send a message, so thank you for your generosity. Building Block, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a bow bun on your way past the commissary. Do you plan to make a 001 proposal? Well, I don't have plans to make one right now. Perhaps someday, if I ever get the free time to write again. Jesus, and specifically Jesus, I'm asking for Uber driver Jesus 029-J, because that would maybe help me get more done to go faster. But if I thought of an idea that merited being a 001, I'd write it. It's just, you know, 001s are pretty hoity-toity. They're very high grade. It's got to be a concept worthy of being 001. So I need to think of something that has that kind of grandiosity to it. Intern Jenna, thank you for donating again. Ha ha ha, ha 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 ha, ha 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 ha. Pathetic humans. Well, we lost intern Jenna. Yo, I'm a huge fan. I love SCP stuff. It is absolutely amazing and so interested in it. And I love it playing 3008 on a Roblox game about SCP 3008. Well, I am glad you are enjoying the SCP community in some way. Yep. Yeah, keep enjoying it. We're doing our best to spread the word so more people can enjoy it. Favorite Man and Caratato, thank you for joining Site 42 staff by subscribing today. All right. I don't know. All right. How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Intern Cheese Cat, a woodchuck could chuck as much wood as a woodchuck could chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood. Let me double check something here. Intern Jenna, thank you for donating again. Pushes do not touch button. SCP-001-J, the big red button. The point is not to touch that button. You're doing the opposite of what the containment procedures say. That is very unprofessional of you. What do you think the most confusing SCP is? Intern Pro, probably any SCP written by Billith. Because Billith is a very smart man. And the SCPs that Billith writes always go way over my head. Mostly joking. Mostly. But I believe one of the most confusing SCPs is SCP-2719, codename Inside. That one really goes over a lot of people's heads. If you like confusing SCPs, by the way, the subreddit SCP Declassified is a great place to check out because they do explainers of very confusing anomalies. And therefore, you can look at which anomaly they're talking about and then go read it first and see if you can figure it out before checking the explanation. May I ask, the person who inspired you to write What I Did for Love, are they okay? Whew! Serious subject there! Haha! But, yes, they are in remission. The theme of What I Did for Love is specifically, yes, going through cancer treatment is hell on the person. And then, selfishly speaking, there's also the person who is caring for them and might not be able to help in any way, and the weakness that you feel. And in Harold Perry's case, even in a world-changing organization that contains mysteries beyond our understanding, you still can't save someone. The weakness that makes you feel is... Dimensional Trickster and Random Gaming, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. Intern Jenna, thank you for donating again. Locks every single SCP's door to be a higher rank. So are you making them more difficult to contain? Or more contained than they were before? Because that's better if they're more secure. Intern Butter. If SCP-096 is in a different dimension of you when you see its face, it still senses it. And when it can't get to you because it can't get out, then it will have itself a nice, merry little panic attack and then deactivate. But if a dimensional doorway opens to your dimension, it will sense it and it will come running. We know this because we put 096 up against 682, and since 682 was able to continually regenerate from the damage, and 096 was not able to defeat it, it also had that same mental breakdown. Intern Jenna, thank you for donating again. My least favorite site is 31. Holy Well, I don't know what they're up to at Site 31, but hopefully they're at least following Foundation protocol, so I don't have to have a problem with them. What if we shredded a paper with George the Chinchilla on it? Does it destroy George or does it make a bunch of mini Georges? It destroys the instance. Well, maybe shredding is not enough destruction and you would end up with mini instances. Huh. I guess we could run that test. I do believe we destroy the instances that are on paper with burning, which solves the problem completely. Site 42 staff who are asking, no, you are not allowed to goon to any anomalies. No fraternizing with the anomalies. It is against protocol. Also, I weep for the loss of the word goon in its proper vernacular meaning. Hey, boss, you want me to get that guy? Hashtag annoyed and asexual indeed, Puppet Boy in Blackwood. Who wins, SCP-999 or SCP-999 or SCP-999? Well, Jenna, thank you for donating again to ask a strange question. I would imagine if we got a multiversal combination of SCP-999s, the one that would, quote, win, well, they're not really fighters, so I guess we would have them do a little slime guy race and see who the fastest is. That would be a competition. Are yokai like Bake Danuki considered SCPs? Well, intern Luma, that's a good question. I'm not familiar with yokai on our database, but I can certainly take a quick look. 2863 seems to include yokai of some sort. 2478. All right, this is talking about the yokai battalion in Ijamea, which is the anomalous, the SCP Foundation of Japan, essentially. And so, Control F. So yes, this is the yokai battalion of Ijamea, although I'm not sure what that means for entities. But your best bet is to use the site search, which is in the top right corner of the SCP Wiki homepage, and search for yokai that way. Dark Shadow Fang, if you're infected with a mallow entity, then your mallow entity does in fact stalk you, but that's normal behavior. You're not special in that case. Dark Duality, thank you for donating again. Sorry for all the Gizai. Did you make all the Gizai? Because if then, yes, you should apologize for putting more work on our plates. But if you didn't make them, then I don't know what you're apologizing for. CD, welcome to Member Task Force Captainship here at Site-42. We appreciate your membership and your service, especially in the battle against the White Names. Jenna, thank you for donating again. I know what the plague is. It gets dragged. Well, we all know what the plague is, but I think you're talking about the pestilence. What if they nuked the facility because due to the chaos insurgency? What would that do to the research? Intern KitKat, all of our research is backed up on databases at several Foundation sites, so we're not going to lose research that way, except for anything that wasn't uploaded that day. I'm sorry I have a white name, I don't have any money. Well, Wizard, first and foremost, reminder, as long as you are here in chat, liking, sharing, subscribing, commenting on our videos and all that, doing that YouTube jazz, you are still a valuable member of Mobile Task Force Sci-42, codenamed the Signal Boosters. Even the Broke Gang can help us algorithmically take YouTube in a stranglehold, and they will bring all new people to the SCP fandom, and we will be that doorway, we will be that funnel, and it's because of you that we're doing it. So, on your own, Broke Gang aside, we thank you for your service, Signal Boosters. But furthermore, perhaps you'll get lucky and get a donated green name. Crazier things have happened. Time check, you say. We just literally hit the 2-hour mark of this 3-hour stream. So we are of a 3-hour stream, we have 1 hour remaining. Could we theoretically have George the Chinchilla confetti? Well, I imagine if you did not just shred the documents, but if you tore it into several sizes of paper, that they could have an image of George on them, then those could come to life and you would have, oh my God, the incessant screaming of all that miniature Georges talking about Saul Sislak. I would have such a headache so fast. Jenna, thank you for donating again. Yo, we're back in another video with SCP-1. Are you starting at the beginning? That's a bold take, especially since there's so many SCP-001s. Dr. Sherman, what happened to SCP-67, the Mason? Well, intern Shido, it never existed. It is a meme that is off the SCP Wiki, meaning it is not canon, meaning that we don't got to worry about that, thankfully. I don't know if I've been silenced. It seems like it's not the case, Dr. Frogman. It seems like it's not the case. Hey, Dr. Sherman, could you destroy SCP-682 by using SCP-1208, the Waffle Maker? And how would it taste? Well, I'm unfamiliar with SCP-1208 off the top of my head, so let me take a look at the documentation. The Waffle Master 3000 is its code name. Oh boy. Belgian waffle iron, identical in every outward respect to a unit produced by Conair Corporation in 2003, except its power cable is fitted with a NEMA 14 to 30 connector rather than grounded NEMA 5 to 20 connector provided with that model. When connected to a compatible 240 volt receptacle, wow, this is very specific. Rapidly warms to a surface temperature of 215 degrees Celsius, at which point a green indicator light turns on. When it has reached operating temperature and any solid material other than a batter or dough is placed between the two heating plates, the lid is closed, regardless of the material so placed, applying torque of approximately 1.3 Newton. Why are you so specific with these measurements? It's a waffle maker. We know how it works. So it turns anything into a waffle. It turns anything into a waffle of any matter. This is so much to say so little. I don't like this SCP. I might consider this a downvotable one to me, just because it annoys me. Like, does it do anything interesting? Deformation caused by incomplete sections will remain alive for a short period of time. Animals that are fully in there, so you can make a rat waffle and it will survive a little bit longer. But the body plan will usually prove fatal in 1 to 3 days. I don't like it. I'm actually not a fan of this one. It annoys me. You wrote so much technical jargon for so little anomaly. Boo. One of my rare downvotes. So we can't fit all of SCP-682 into the waffle device, which means that 682 will just regenerate the damage done to it. So no, this could not kill 682. Jenna, welcome to Level 1 Researchership here at Site-42. We appreciate your membership and your service, especially the research you will help us do to win the battle against the White Names. CD, thank you for your first donation of today's stream, as well as being a newly minted member. Make sure to grab yourself some pizza rolls on your way past the commissary. Ooh, I want some pizza rolls now. Hot damn. Dr. Sherman, should I be concerned about the guy trying to get me to join his cult by saying the orb? He said something about a hive mind. Just stay away from it. We're trying to contain the orb right now. We have a plan in place. Just stay away from it. Jenna, thank you for donating again, as well as being a newly minted member. Yippee yeah, there would be no wedding bells today. Well, yes, if you can't fraternize with anomalies, I'm also going to be quite salty if you try to marry one, so that is against protocol, yes. Love the hair. Well, thank you, Intern Spark. And a reminder that if we get to 2,500 members total on the channel, we will have pink streaks the next time I color my hair. So gift memberships, become a member, and let's get that ranking up. You guys wanted pink hair? There's your goal. Forget everything. I'm ascending to godhood. You can't stop me. Desk, turn on the Scranton reality anchor near Zerdrin's containment cell. Jenna, thank you for donating again. I contain the orb in the SCP cell, but it's not on site. Are there more than one orb? Oh, that's going to be so annoying. How long has it been since the CIA have raided? Well, the Chaos Insurgency invaded us a little around a month ago, but I don't know if they've done any other raids since. Does it count if I muted Zerdrin for 5 minutes? Oh, that's too cruel. That's too cruel, Desk. How monstrous of you. Zerdrin, I hope you survive your solitude. You'll be back. Soon you'll see. You'll remember you are an SCP. Mini Cheesecake. Welcome to the stream. You said you haven't found us before. Well, welcome to your first Site 42 live stream. We are here to tell the stories of the SCP Foundation and answer your burning questions about our anomalies, our staff who contains them, the groups of interest who get really salty about containment, and of course, hypothetical containment procedures about anomalies that fall outside of our purview, perhaps a multiverse or a pataphysical narrative level issue, i.e. different fandom. You can also ask about today's stream subject, which is questions about the SCPs that I have personally written, which you can see at my author page on the SCP Wiki. Pardon. So if you have questions about the SCPs I wrote or their writing process and things like that, that's what we're doing today. Jenna, thank you for donating again. Ah, it's the all-knowing cockroach. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. It is going up your nose. La cucaracha, la cucaracha. Hope your head does not explode. What if we cross-tested George the Chinchilla and SCP-420-J? Could it infect the blunt? So do you want to draw an iteration of George the Chinchilla on an iteration of SCP-420-J? Can't lie. Can't lie. You've got me curious. Maybe for the next time we, party around these parts. Amber, good to have you back. Hope the Doctor was not a bad time. And we are at 130 minutes out of this 180-minute stream, so you've got 50 minutes left on the clock. Dr. Sherman, Jeff is popular around here. How do you think it would interact with your SCPs? EX excluded. Well, yeah, because there is no SCP there. So, we have Jeff and George the Chinchilla would probably have a friendly conversation. But if it were a universe where you couldn't mention George the Chinchilla without being infected, then Jeff would just be oblivious enough to never talk about it. Meanwhile, with the gym look, I wonder if George could infect a DVD or end up in a TV show. I've never thought about that. Kind of scared to test it, too. With hair growth by Dado, I mean, you can put a George on the label of the tonic, but that wouldn't do much. Cake by the Ocean, there's not actually any written stuff there. I mean, you could leave a George iteration on the cake beach, but that's about it. Jim Biggio, I guess you could draw it on Jim's shirt, but wouldn't really interact with much of the anomalies, but I'm sure interactions between George and, say, Fred, the fictional character in the books, could be interesting. Jenna, thank you for donating again. I am God. 5 minutes later. Hospital. Yep, you flew too close to the sun, Icarus. Now you're gonna need a break. Oh God, someone is trapped in the forever IKEA. Well, that's just, I mean, intern cheesecake. There are a lot of people stuck in the IKEA. I mean, they have whole survivor villages. We knew about that for a while. We send in the drones. Could we theoretically convert an image of George the Chinchilla to an audio file, then teach the audio file to a bird? I certainly hope not. Sounds like a terrible idea. Zerdrin has returned. Welcome back, Zerd. What happens if you put SCP-096 and SCP-173 in the same room? Would you just die? SCP-096's face is tall. Even if it's balled up in a corner with its head in its hands, you could just look at the peanut and not it. And if 096 is standing, you could look at 173's feet. You, a Foundation staff member, should be smart enough to figure this out. If you're not a keen enough strategist to survive, you're gonna end up as D-class anyways. Is there a way to get out of the infinite IKEA? There are only so many fake kitchens I can explore before I go insane. Well, intern Cheesecake, if you're stuck in there, then I have bad news for you. There is only one exit that we know of to the infinite IKEA, and it moves when it's out of eyesight. Meaning, if you walk into the infinite IKEA and then leave the door area, it's gone when you come back. So you're gonna have to be really lucky to find that door again. I'm sorry to say. You're going to be there a while. Chester Factory, thank you for donating through the Ko-Fi, which has less fees than the YouTube. We appreciate it. And if this is your first donation, because I don't remember, it's been a long stream, go ahead and grab yourself a croissant on your way past the commissary. Has testing on SCP-3302 resumed yet, or has the Unreality Department not figured out the ramifications yet? As far as I know, Unreality still has a hold on testing. But, I mean, at the same time, what more are we going to learn about a DVD that makes you do the gym look? I don't think there's a whole lot to look at until we figure out what's going on with that extra dimensional observation situation. Dr. Parker, thank you for donating again. Fluffy tummy, image of a pet. Well, that's nice. Pets are calming to people, so it's good that we have access to that for folks. Alice, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Grab yourself some Swedish meatballs on your way past the commissary. Hi! Hi! Oswald, we were talking about people saying that the SCP community endorses AI art, which is annoying and incorrect. So that is what I was grumpy about all weekend, is AI art's failures and such. Alice, thank you for donating again. And you just screamed the word arson. Well, do not commit arson at a Foundation facility, please. Furthermore, reminder, eating food and then burning calories after is technically ethical arson. So yeah, make sure you eat something. Torin, thank you for donating again. No, thank you for donating for the first time today. Make sure to grab yourself a hot slice of pizza on your way past the commissary. I may have accidentally left SCP-999 outside again. SCP-999 is in its containment cell. What? What did you leave outside? Do you have to pay for food at the Foundation commissary? I mean, out of your paycheck, yes, you do have to pay for food at the commissary, but it all is part of the Foundation's internal economy. You are paid, and there's food, and you can go to the off-site, or not the commissary, but like the restaurants as well. You have options, is what I'm saying. But just like any good corporation, the food's a lot cheaper because we don't try to profit off that. Hunter, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself some Fun Dip on your way past the commissary. May I send Gaster to the Foundation if I find him? Well, I would be curious to discuss the being split across time and space factor. So yes, if so, then yes. Alice, thank you for donating again. Y'all all spam arson. Please do not spam in the chat. We're trying to have civilized discussion and Q&A. Torin, thank you for donating again. Oh crap, not again. I don't think that was 999. You think? You think it wasn't 999? Where is it? Where'd you leave it? Is it still there? Find out and call security. Foxtrot 257, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a big old cinnamon roll on your way past the commissary. Dr. Shepard, not my name. I am Dr. Sherman. I am not a character on Grey's Anatomy, please. It's what is your personal opinion about pocket dimensions, and do you think we as a Foundation can ever truly master one? Also, where's the best coffee? Intern F257. Well, we do, in fact, have a couple pocket dimensions that we make use of. For instance, SCP... what is its number designation? SCP-108, codename Extra-Dimensional Nasal Cavity, accessible through the nostrils of Subject 108-1, an African-American female, 51 years old, who was previously employed as a cashier at Redacted, a small-town hardware store in Redacted, Kentucky. Examination of 108 reveals the area accessible via the subject's nostrils is not the human nasal cavity, but rather a bunker system of Nazi German construction dedicated to the production and maintenance of World War II-era Messerschmitt 262 fighters. There's a German bunker in this woman's nasal cavity. A pocket dimension up her nose. Subject claims that she was training to perform the human blockhead magic trick in preparation for being a clown at a children's birthday party. After hammering the 4-centimeter-long galvanized iron nail into her nasal cavity, she lost her grip on the end and dropped it inside her nose. Immediately, she noticed a god-awful musty stench and experienced nausea and disorientation. Blowing her nose had no discernible effect and left no residue in tissues. She was able to breathe normally through her nose. After about 3 days, subject got used to the hell's asshole smell and performed at the children's party to the delight of her nephew. So, yeah. We deal with this all the time. It's kind of normal around these parts. Torin, thank you for donating again. Why does the pizza taste like a missing person? Okay, first of all, how do you know what person tastes like? Second of all, how would a missing person taste discernibly different from a regular person who was not missing? Huh? What is the flavor profile here that you're describing? And how do you know what it is? Huh? Hunter, thank you for donating again. Problem, Sans dodged the Nintendo gunshot. What does that have to do with your Gaster situation? Alice, thank you for donating again. Are there any SCPs that regularly burn places down? Well, SCP-457 is literally a man made out of fire. So yeah. What should I do if I accidentally ate SCP-999? Well, Intern Pro, you should be prepared for a very uncomfortable time as you digest something that tickles all the way through you. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. So how is she alive? How does the air reach her lungs? I need to ask my department head to allow me to do some x-rays. No, we have done a lot of x-rays on 108. Read the documentation, it's all there. And no, we cannot explain how air gets to her lungs through her nose, despite the fact that her nose is a portal to a bunker. That is weird. Hunter, thank you for donating again. Gaster destroyed my file after I tried, that's why. What does Gaster destroying your file have anything to do with Sans and a Nintendo gun, though? The chain of events here is strange and unknowable to me. I need you to elaborate. Wait, which SCP is that? Car, we're talking about SCP-108. The woman with a portal in her nostril. Torin, thank you for donating again. Maybe I just got a little curious a few times. Well, bad things are going to happen if you're eating people. I just want to tell you that. 108 is a mouth breather. Intern Waffle, I literally just read from the document for 108 that it can breathe through its nostrils normally, and yet the portal and the lungs still work as regular. Pay attention. Ivo Robotnik, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a chili dog on your way past the commissary. Will Sonic and the rodents ever be detained? Well, the thing is, in their universe, they are not anomalous. So unless they come to ours, it's not our problem. You have to deal with them. Kazu Quest, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Grab yourself a cheese dog on your way past the commissary. I don't want my insides tinkled. I don't want my insides tickled, then don't eat SCP-999. The SCP-3008 employees don't taste great either, according to a friend. Well, intern cheesecake, they wouldn't. If I remember correctly, they have a plasticine texture when they are dismembered. -2s. Humanoid entities, superficially resembling humans, they possess exaggerated, inconsistent bodily proportions, often described as being too short or too tall. They possess no facial features. In all observed cases, wear a yellow shirt or blue trousers, consistent with an eye uniform. The -2s. Plastic. Huh. Don't remember where I saw that. But, yeah, they wouldn't taste great being made of plastic. It's fantastic. Intern Ray, I do not watch Dr. Bob, although I hear they are one of the less egregiously bad animation channel / content farms on that spectrum. Alice, thank you for donating again. I might have let SCP-457 out. Then you're going to be a D class. You might going to be a D class if that's true. Is that what you want? Oh, and by the way, please do not fret if I get off task on donations. Sometimes I'm just answering other questions that come up as we go, but I will not miss a donation by the end of stream. Especially since time check, we have 30 minutes left in today's stream. The last 30 minutes are upon us, people. Torin, thank you for donating again. I only have a few prions. Heh. Interesting. Prions, you say? Well, I am sorry for your medical condition, and perhaps you can get medical to fix that for you. I remember you were the top of my FYP for most of 2023. So if you're talking about TikTok's For You page, then yes, that's understandable. Something happened in 2024-ish where they really turned something in the algorithm on TikTok that got rid of a lot of the cosplayers' momentum. The cosplay community on TikTok suffered very largely post-2024, so it's even hard for me on these streets with as many followers I have to get any viral momentum over there, but we're still doing our best. And hey, we transferred over to YouTube, and that went very well, so we're doing okay. GSP Dad, thank you for your first donation to today's stream. Make sure to grab yourself a Caesar salad on your way past the commissary. Doctor, are there needles of SCP-8? There are needles of 867 in your lab. Congrats. Why am I... What? 8675309. Yes, the blood spruce. Alright, I will be careful not to touch the blood spruce. Intern Willie. Hey-o, my man. Unlikely you'll see this. Well, turns out I did. But thank you for actually being an entertaining stream on YouTube, unlike most of the other streams are abhorrent or uninteresting. Thanks again, my man. Well, I appreciate you appreciate us. I'm not sure what other people do on stream, but it seems our Yap streams have been going pretty strong for the last 6 months, once a day, so I'm not complaining. It seems we got a good thing going on. Hunter, thank you for donating again. I found Flowey. He's been potted. First of all, talking flower, anomalous. It's an it's, not a he. Flowey is an it is anomalous, it is an object, not a person. So, please practice proper pronoun parlance protocols at the Foundation. Second, what does this all have to do with Gaster? Are you sure you're not just seeing a flower in a pot and a human skeleton, of which there are many here at the Foundation, and just thinking they're things from this Undertale universe? Alice, thank you for donating again. SCP-457 has set floor 6 on fire. Well, congratulations on being demoted to D class because you actually did the thing that you said you maybe did. So enjoy your test with whatever anomaly the researchers put you through. And I'll have facilities get on that whole fire thing. Intern Duck, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. What a load of nonsense this is. Well, Intern Redwood, that's very negative of you. I would assume that all fiction would be nonsense to someone one way or another. Maybe you just need to take a nap. You seem kind of grumpy. Alice, thank you for donating again. I'm in danger. The indestructible lizard has found me. Well, yes. As a D class, you were supposed to test 6A2 for your failure of basic morality. So have fun. Intern, Grow a Garden Pro, and Desk. So I wouldn't worry about people trying to... I wouldn't worry about people stealing your idea, because even if you have an idea that's derivative of someone else's on the wiki, just the act of writing it in your own style and changing it the ways you personally would change it means that two people can have the same idea but wildly different interpretations, i.e. two different stories with the same idea. For instance, there are at least a couple other statues on the wiki that move when you don't look at them. Or there's a statue that moves when you look at it. There's a whole lot of anomalous statues on our website is what I'm saying. So yeah, don't worry so much about people stealing your ideas, because no one can write it like you can. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. Last question, Doctor. I'm trying to prove the existence of void mass. Apparently it's highly contaminative. Lock down my quarters, please. Well, yes, anyone playing with void, I am not a fan of causing black holes on the scenario. Hunter, thank you for donating again. I was just saying random stuff while bringing a piece of Gaster to the site. Why were you just saying random stuff? That doesn't contribute to the conversation or our scientific knowledge. In fact, you're gumming up the works for important data that could be being shared. So, saying random stuff, not the way. Not the way. Dr. Sherman, can a reality warper make or move the door to leave the infinite IKEA? You know, CD, that's actually very interesting. I wouldn't know. It depends on how the infinite IKEA interacts with Humes. Because reality benders, we all know about Humes. We talk about it all the time. We're all experts on how Humes work, of course. So, if that dimension has Hume levels and gradients the same way as our universe, at least, then it's possible they could. But then again, we would have to throw a reality bender into the IKEA, which would not be a good idea. So, perhaps we'd be causing some trouble. Clover, thank you for your first donation to today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a plate of Cajun fries on your way past the commissary. And thank you for donating twice and the second time saying hello. So thank you for donating twice and hello to you. Enjoy your fries. Are the SCP-3000 employees sentient? I mean, they seem to act more like robotic and repetitive behavior, so I don't really believe so. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. I now have a mark on my hand, huh? It's cold. Well, you should have medical take a look on that. Alice, thank you for donating again. SCP-4666 Loki made me hate Christmas bro nightmares. Why do you think the Yule Man is Loki? That confuses me. Oh, you mean low-key, like... Sigh of slaying frustration. CD, thank you for donating again. I volunteered to test my hypothesis and rescue Minnie. Well, okay. Give it your best shot. I mean, you're trapped in an IKEA funeral. Dr. Sherman, are you a soprano? You sound like you can sing. My dear puppet boy, I am definitely not a soprano. I'm a tenor 2 to baritone 1. Clover, thank you for donating again. What's the coolest SCP in your opinion? Well, I assume it would be any sort of rock, any sort of ice anomaly, wouldn't it? I wonder what the SCP with the coldest temperature is. Well, we have a lot of ice anomalies. That would be really hard to go with. But if I talk about cool when it comes to SCP, you can't go wrong with something we joked about the other day, which is SCP-777-J, codename Dark Blade. Dark Blade is a Sephiroth-looking OC who is the coolest guy who's ever cooled. The ladies love him, And also, the men love him. So yeah, read SCP-777-J and you will learn what not to do when writing your SCP-OC. Alice, thank you for donating again. Last time I'm donating, I'm broke, sorry. Well, hey, thank you for your generosity thus far, and remember, Broke Gang is still valuable to the Mobile Task Force Psi-42, codenamed the Signal Boosters. If you're here in the chat, chatting, liking, sharing, subscribing, all that YouTube business, then you are helping the YouTube algorithm bring people to our Site-42, in which case we funnel them off to the SCP Wiki proper. And so that is how we get more and more people into SCP. That's how we get bigger and better SCP projects, because some of those people, they're either going to be artists or storytellers or animators or filmmakers or game devs, or maybe they're just rich people who want to fund projects. Either way, we appreciate you helping to bring them in. Clover, thank you for donating again. My friend fired me to get me into the SCP fandom, lol. Clover, what does that mean? How did your friend firing you get you into the SCP fandom? That's a confusing statement. If you're a researcher, how do you have the title of doctor at any point where you're a member of the medical staff of Site-42? Dwayne, reminder that doctor doesn't just mean medicine. You have PhDs, doctors of science, doctors of all sorts of fields, not just medical. Non-binary, codename Vinny. Welcome to Level 1 Researchership here at Site-42. We appreciate your membership and your service. Clover, thank you for donating again twice. My friend made me learn SCP 1 to 100 because he liked it. What does that have to do with firing you, though? I'm confused as to that. Meanwhile, I'm going to go buy Robux. Well, you have fun in your Bloxianness. Hey, it is a platform where people do make good games from time to time, despite the controversy and the scummy sales tactics. You know, we can't hate on every Roblox fan. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. Sir, are there good templates to write out SCP reports? There's so many. Medical discarded me under observation. Well, good that you're under observation. And for templates to write out SCP reports, the best thing you can do, and this is a writing tip, is to go to a bunch of SCP articles, read them, and start to break down the different formats. It usually, but not always, starts with the item number, object class, special containment procedures, and description. That's like your bare bones. But then you've got other formatting things that can add to your story. You've got addendums, you've got your discovery logs, you've got your action reports, you've got your interviews. So there are a lot of things that you can use to tell your story in the SCP format. So look into and study the format of different SCPs you like, and think of which chunks of the formatting can be used to tell your story more better. More better. Yeah, I'm definitely a respected writer. More better. Raccoon Dog, thank you for your first donation of today's stream as well as being a member. Grab yourself a plate of chili fries on your way past the commissary. God, I'm hungry. I want some chili fries now. Damn it. What are your thoughts on SCP-835, you say? Well, I'm unfamiliar with 835 off the top of my head. But it's an adult content warning as soon as I pull it up, so... Oh boy. Graphic depiction of blood, gore, or mutilation of body parts. Be aware of what we're getting into here. Expunged data released. This is a large mass of coral polyps. Oh, this is one of the first SCPs that I was ever actively horrified by. SCP-835 is gross. Gross. Yeah, that is some early SCP body horror for real. Legendary SCP grossness. There's a reason it's plus 1,000 and higher. R. Valentine, thank you for your first donation of today's stream, as well as being a member. Grab yourself a baguette on your way past the commissary. We sell bread. We sell loaves. We store baguettes in our clothes. Okay, have fun. What are some tips for writing your first SCP? Intern Bug. On this channel, there's a video called SCP Writing Tips from SCP Writers. And it is a compilation of short tips that you can use to get your start and your bearings. So check out that video. Enjoy it. Clover, thank you for donating again. I meant to say forced. Okay, that does make more sense. Thank you for the clarification. Also, thank you for gifting a Site42 membership or 2 Site42 memberships to today's stream. If you receive that membership from Clover, those memberships, make sure to thank Clover for their generosity and their help in winning the battle against the White Names. Also, reminder, it's possible that those memberships were gifted to people who are not currently in stream. And if that's the case, then they will not thank you, but I'm sure they would thank you if they were here. On that same vein, Foxtrot257, welcome to Mobile Task Force Captainship here at Site42. We appreciate your membership and your service and helping to build our ranks to win the battle against the White Names. Fisher, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Grab yourself some tilapia on your way past the commissary. How do you fix Scranton Reality Anchors? SCP-3091. Well, does 3091 having to do with fixing Scranton Reality Anchors, or is that a separate thing you just brought up at the same time? 3091, a codename Temporal Funnel Trap. Massive underground structure, Canada, 14 camouflage access points, large event chamber, field generators, red room anomalies surrounding facilities, all sorts of secrecy, ho-hum. I don't see how this is related to Scranton Reality Anchors. We cannot deactivate 3091 or allow it to be deactivated while this object has prevented potential catastrophic damage to our time stream in the forms of paradoxes, malicious attack, or other interventions. If the machine were switched off, the inactivation of the fields would cause a massive explosion that would certainly prevent its reactivation. Any arrival of sentient beings or devices while the machine is switched off could drastically alter our reality. Is this like a precursor to the Scranton Reality Anchor? Interesting. I'll check that out later to see what's happening. But for tips on fixing one, you should talk to a technician. I'm not a technician for SRAs. Greg, thank you for donating again. SCP-31989 is going wonky. Help. You are in a weird universe that has that many damned anomalies. I am sorry for you. That's insane. That's too many anomalies. Does Clef work for Dr. Sherman or vice versa? Neither. Dr. Clef is a researcher and agent of the Foundation. I am a site director of a specific site at Site42. That said, we are colleagues and friendly. Is the Grim Reaper considered an SCP? I mean, it can literally touch you and you die. Actually, we have several Grim Reapers in containment. SCP Grim Reaper. The most famous of which is SCP-3540, codename Don't Queer the Reaper. And it's a couple of Grim Reapers who have a vacation home where they spend the spooky month holiday together, decorate, and enjoy some time off. And that's just one pair of Grim Reapers we have in containment. SCP-Spooky-J is a skeleton wearing a black robe, but it's just a pest who yells obscenities at people. Our Valentine, thank you for donating again. What is your birthday cake of choice? Hands down, red velvet with cream cheese frosting. Every damn time. Delightful. I don't care that it's just chocolate. Red chocolate tastes better for some reason. I don't know why. Could a short film be published on the wiki and considered an article? Just thought of that thought. Amber, I'm sure it could. And in fact, there are some articles that use mixed media to great effect. And in fact, Dr. Sumerian made a video game, SCP. A literal playable game on the SCP wiki. Desk, do you know which article that is? Subspace Beach Ball, thank you for your first donation of today's stream. Get yourself a corn dog on your way past the commissary. Eric, signed 066. If Eric is around, we need to lock him down. That person of interest makes anomalies, needs to be locked down. Desk, we're trying to figure out the SCP that Dr. Sumerian, it's literally a video game. The format of the anomaly is a video game that is playable. Alice, thank you for donating again. I'm in your office and I might have looked at 096. Well, then get out of my office. If you're gonna die screaming and bleeding, I don't want it on my carpet. By the way, Site-42 staff, we are currently in the last 6 minutes of stream. 6 minutes. No, Desk. Billith also made a game, but so did Sumerian. Which means there's 2 games on the wiki, at least. SCP... That is also a video game. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. I just read SCP-073, codename Abel. Very interesting. Also, the mark speaks. It's weird. Yeah, that is weird. Make sure you get that checked out. And, yes, Abel is a classic and well-loved anomaly for a reason. Wait. 073 is Cain, not Abel. Abel is 076. Needed a second there. Which one were you talking about there, Foxtrot? Because something's wrong there. Checking the back channel. Yes, Desk, you are correct. That is the article. SCP-245 is SCP-RPG. And it is a game that Dr. Sumerian uploaded to the wiki as an article. Whoop, 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 whoop. Y'all are saying there's an audio problem, which is very funny at the very last minute of stream. Confusing. Let's see if this anomalous storm goes by. Some people are saying it's fine. Some people are saying it's changed. Some people are saying it's fine now. Can see you, not hear me? That's even worse. Sound check, 1 2 1 2. Sound check 1 2 1 2. I closed and reopened YouTube and that fixed it. Sounds good, that makes sense. All right, well, 2.5 minutes left on stream, so give me some good, finished questions to wrap up on. Dr. Sherman, what is your favorite saying of SCP Spooky-J? What a rambunctious, rude, and crude anomaly. SCP Spooky-J. What is my favorite line? Now, if you want to hear me say all of these lines, it's because available on the SCP Spooky-J reading here on Site-42. So you can go down there and see exactly what... you can hear me say all of these lines. And I think my favorite individual line of Spooky-J I think you can't go wrong with "Shut your dong slopper, fuckboy! You can't rattle these bones! You can't rustle these jimmies!" I think that's just a classic SCP Spooky-J-ism right there. Foxtrot, thank you for donating again. Gonna check out more the start of draft of my report, both for medical and research. Excellent. Excellent. Good work. And just to finish off the Spooky-J subject, the last, my top 3, if I get to give a top 3, you can't go wrong with the simple, "Suck my skeleballs!" And finally, just for a change of pace on number 3, to Dr. Filler saying, "Why are you doing this? You don't even have a stomach, you fuckwit. I do it because I love you, Dad." Why does he call him Dad? Who the fuck knows? But that's just comedy right there. Starchild, thank you for going through the Ko-Fi for your first donation of today's stream. Make sure, Puppet Boy, to give yourself a pint of Haagen-Dazs on your way past the commissary. Researcher Puppet Boy here with some more nonsense. I'm gonna 420-J a George's instance and smoke it. I gotta see what this does to my brain. Well, you tell me if you start seeing dancing images of George the Chinchilla and the other Saul the Sislak gallery while you're on a higher elevation, we should say. And by the way, if you're interested in writing some SCP stuff and you know what to write about, make some more Saul Sislak characters. George the Chinchilla is there like Mickey Mouse, but who are the other Saul Sislak animation universe characters? Who is gonna make the frickin' mascot horror George the Chinchilla and Friends game? I'm just saying, there's some fodder there for you. Oni Shinobi, welcome to Site 42 staff. Thank you for subscribing. All right, Site 42 staff, it is officially the end of stream. That means, as always, as tradition around these parts, I tell you guys my favorite SCPs. But of course, I'm not going to tell you that my favorite SCPs are the ones I personally wrote. That would be cheating. But if you did want to read the SCPs I personally wrote, you can go to the Sherm Site 42 Hub and author page on the SCP Wiki. There you can see all the SCPs I wrote, as well. One link, one tab over from those SCPs, there's some links. Some links that people are very often very interested in finding, but they're also very lazy and never get there. But you're not going to fail, are you? You're going to find those links. You're going to do what you got to do because you are a determined, successful member of the Containment Hazard Assessment Team. Is that right? I thought it was. I thought it was. I believed in you for a reason. Now, with that said, my favorite SCPs, in no particular order, are SCP-3999, SCP-3043, SCP-008-J, SCP-Spooky-J, SCP-5031, SCP-5175, SCP-5320, and SCP-8980. Content warning about that last one, it's a rough read. Speed round, 3999, 3043, 008-J, Spooky-J, 5031, 5175, 5320, 8980. Content warning about the last one, it's a very, very rough read. Now, on top of that, reminder that if you are capable, we'd appreciate it here at Site 42 if you became a Site 42 Patreon patron or a YouTube channel member to donate to us monthly, or by doing YouTube Super Chats or Ko-Fis if you want to donate to us once at a time. Any direct donation is much appreciated in keeping us keeping the lights on around these parts. Furthermore, if you can't donate because you're part of the broke gang, we understand that. We are an arts community after all. Starving artists is a trope for a reason. But if you are here in the chat, liking, sharing, subscribing, and chatting, if you are commenting on our videos and watching them, then you are helping us boost the algorithm through YouTube to bring more people into the fandom. And that means you are an honored and valued member of Mobile Task Force Site 42, codename the Signal Boosters. And whether it's boosting our profile so we can get the funds to make our own projects, or going like a witch's flying monkeys to support other projects when I call them out, we appreciate your service, Sci 42. Whew! Alice, thank you for the last minute donation to say bye! And Amber, thank you for the last minute Ko-Fi donation. Make sure to grab yourself some potato skins on your way past the commissary. Thank you for getting me through the last 3 hours of Valiant Life. Secure, Contain, Protect. Well, you are quite welcome. I am glad to anybody who I have helped through the discussion of art and entertainment and goofy jokes and japes. So, everyone, be safe, be well, and as always, secure, contain, protect. I'll see you in the next video or stream. Boop. I never meant to be so bad to you. One thing I said that I would never do. A look from you and I would fall from grace, and that would wipe the smile right from my face. But chow, do you remember when we used to dance? Do-do-ts. And incidents arose from circumstance. One thing led to another, we were young, and we would scream together songs unsung. It was the heat of the moment, telling me what my heart meant. The heat of the moment showed in your eyes. The credit song is Heat of the Moment by Asia. Be safe, be well, Site42 staff. Secure, contain, protect. Alice, thank you for your very last-minute donation. We are, in fact, silly mode around these parts. Alki, you were also correct that it was a supernatural mention. Good work.